Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. And you know what? First of all, before I talk about any transfers, I just got to say thank you, Lord. That was a horrible situation yesterday with Christian Eriksen, ex-Tottenham, ex-Inter Milan player. Well, not ex-Inter Milan, currently plays for Inter Milan, and playing for Denmark yesterday, collapsed on the pitch. It was absolutely shocking, to see his teammates have to surround him and all praying for him, and they were in tears. There were people in the crowd in tears as well. And we were doing a watch along at the time to it on the Don Robbie channel. I'll tell you, I didn't even hardly know what to say. It was such a horrible situation, but thankfully, it looks like he's come round. Because it was close to death. It was that sort of situation there. But the prayers looked like they were all answered, and he's starting to make a recovery, and he's apparently spoken to his teammates and wished them all the best. So that's great. And let's hope that he makes a full and speedy recovery and that we see him back on the pitch very, very soon as well. So, wow, Christian Eriksen, prayers answered. It ended up being beautiful that he got through. And well done to all the medical staff. They were absolutely incredible. That's one of the advances that we've seen in football now, that they're able to get on the pitch very, very quickly and deal with these situations and have all the right equipment at hand. And I think if that had been like, say, remember when Fabrice Muamba, ex-Arsenal player, collapsed, that's what they were saying, the lack of equipment, Vivian Foe when he died. So it's just good that football's moved on in that way. England playing today, of course. Good luck to Bukayo Saka, who's in the England squad. Not sure if he'll get any game time today. Maybe. I think Gareth Southgate does really like him as a player, so maybe we get to see him in action. But good luck to England. And could we be seeing a player that could be on his way to Arsenal in Ben White, getting some minutes as well? Sort of a last-minute inclusion into the squad. And there is still a lot of interest from Arsenal. We're still reading today that Arsenal are negotiating with Brighton as we speak to try and get Ben White. Ben White there, he says reported fee 50 million. It's not, it's 50 million. It's what they're actually after. The 50 million thing was his early valuation. 50 million pounds is what they want for him. We've spoken about this one several times on the show. I'm still not convinced that Arsenal need another right back. He's a unbelievable right back, and he's going to get better and better and better, and in the future will probably be an England regular in that position. But is it what we need right now? And what happens to William Saliba if we get him? But I guess I don't want to complain if we're trying to bring in quality, you know what I mean? Because that's what we need. We need to bring in quality here at Arsenal. But Ben White's still being linked with a move to Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, we know maybe moving on. Granit Xhaka, who played yesterday against Wales, had a very good game against Wales. I saw a lot of Arsenal fans saying, well, hold on a minute, how comes we don't see that when you're playing for Arsenal? But in all fairness, he did have a decent season for Arsenal, continued it through into that game, but he does look like he's definitely on the way out. And Arsenal apparently eyeing Manuel Locatelli. Now, Locatelli is an interesting one. He's only 23, plays for Sassuolo. I think he came through the Milan Academy, but plays for Sassuolo in the midfield, reportedly worth around about £35 million plus. Put the plus on it now that he had that brilliant performance for Italy on Friday as they demolished Turkey. And he was very, very good in that midfield, a real sort of deep-lying playmaker. And you looked at him and you said, yeah, a player like that next to Thomas Partey would be brilliant. But now that he's, playing at the Euros, I think, his valuation could go right up because he, playing for Sassuolo over there in Italy, not a really glamour team, of course, in Italy, one of the sort of minnows in Serie A. But now he's firmly in the shop window and expect that valuation to go up. And also what happens in these Euros is that lots and lots of teams get involved and want to buy particular players, and he's going to be one of those. So Arsenal apparently interested in him. Locatelli would be a good signing, but let's see how that one pans out. Now, this is an interesting one. Donny van der Beek or Van der Beek, some people pronounce it as, of The Netherlands, I'm not sure if he's actually playing in the Euros. He's picked up a bit of an injury. He hasn't played a lot anyway. You know, bought by Man United. They paid a lot of money for him, £35 million, bought him in. When they bought him in, there was a little bit of surprise from people because they were like, well, yeah, good player and everything, but where is he going to play? You know, that's where, you know, United actually have a lot of quality in Bruno Fernandes and Pogba and players like that. He's really, really struggled to get any game time at all under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And you can see week in, week out that the 24-year-old, he's sat in the stands and he does not look happy. He wants to play. There's been lots of criticism from Holland as well, towards Man United, saying that, you know, they're literally ruining this guy's career. He's a very talented player, plays in that number 10 position. When he was at Ajax, scored a lot of goals, arriving late into the box, sort of goal-scoring midfielder that Arsenal could do with, and he's, you know, a player who plays in that number 10 position. We're hearing that Arsenal are making inquiries to Manchester United about Donny van de Beek's future. Would United sell him to Arsenal? He obviously is not fancied by the manager, right? So they may look to move him on and try and recoup back some of that money they spent. The reported valuation of him now is around about £27 million. But would they sell him to Arsenal? That would be the interesting one to see. And for you guys out there, would you like Van der Beek? I'd like to know from you guys, with Van der Beek, would that be a good signing for Arsenal? I think he would. I think he's a very, very good player. Listen, I prefer us to get an Odegaard or, you know, somebody like that. But Van der Beek, for me, would represent a good signing. So would love to hear from you guys what you think. Donny van der Beek also apparently making inquiries to Manchester United about his future. Bernd Leno, this is an interesting one. Will he be at Arsenal next season? There's lots of talk around in the media that Mikel Arteta is willing to sell Bernd Leno. Had a bit of a mixed season last year. Sometimes brilliant. Sometimes he made some poor errors. Particularly, he's playing out from the back wasn't great last season. He sometimes seems to slow things down too much, but, you know, a good goalkeeper. 29 now. So still, as far as goalkeepers are concerned, pretty young. He's at the Euros with Germany, but Arsenal said to be willing to listen to offers for him. And we know that they've been speaking to goalkeepers. We already know of the interest that they have in Onana. And there's a lot of talk that they may bring Onana in. So will that mean that they're going to get rid of Bernd Leno? Onana, if he comes in, won't be able to play for Arsenal until at least November. Then he could be off to the African Cup of Nations. So I don't know what we're hearing, you know, that Arsenal are willing to listen to offers from him, but it'd be very interesting. There's also Matt Ryan. Are Arsenal going to try and bring Matt Ryan back to Arsenal? He's available on a free now. His contract has run out. He was on loan, only played a couple of games in the league for Arsenal, but every time he played, he looked pretty steady. And he's returned to Brighton, as we know. Now, there's a lot of talk that Celtic are interested in signing Matt Ryan. They'd like to get Matt Ryan in. Matt Ryan wants to get goal game time, wants to get back in between the sticks. And could he be off to Celtic, or could he be on his way back to Arsenal? Arsenal said to be interested in bringing him back, but going to be really interesting to see where he ends up. He could come back to Arsenal, possibly be a backup to Leno or Onana, whoever Arsenal have as their number one, or he could go to Celtic and be the number one. Going to be interesting to see what he chooses to do. We know of his love of Arsenal, but what will Matt Ryan do and where will he end up? That's going to be an interesting one. Now, Arsenal, we know that are on the look for right backs at the moment, and this guy, Vanderson, is another right back that Arsenal are interested in. Edu said to be making lots of inquiries to try and maybe get a possible deal done for the talented right back. He's got an £86 million release clause. 86 million. He's only aged 19. Now, listen, let me just explain some of these release clauses. Sometimes they're kind of there to just sort of say, listen, we want a lot of money for him. I mean, when I was looking at some of his true valuations, it was about £3 million. He won't go for 3 million. Probably, maybe, I don't know, 10 million. But in some of these teams, especially over there in South America, excuse me, insert some of these ridiculous release clauses into the contracts just to make sure that they can get a lot of money for him. He's a very, very talented player. I don't know if some of you guys, you could probably check out the video on YouTube. There's a video of him doing the rounds where he does a great bit of skill and scores a goal. And he's one of those right backs who gets up and down the wing. The modern day right back. That's what he is. And, you know, listen, Edu's pulled off, you know, brilliant one in Martinelli. Could this be another one? And if he did come, would we play him? But Arsenal said to be looking at Vanderson. Love that name, Vanderson. These Brazilian names, man, they're so cool. And then there's Nabil Fekir. Now, remember him? We've spoken about him a couple of weeks ago on the show. Arsenal said to be still interested in the player who plays for Real Betis, French, of course. Didn't make the French squad for the Euros. Remember, he won the World Cup with France, but didn't make the squad this time around. Reported valuation around about £13 million for Fekir. That's the valuation, but trust me, he's going to be worth more than that. Probably up to about 23 to 25 million pounds. We know that he's an excellent number 10, although in recent years, he's just not been his old self. Remember, he was supposed to have that big move to Liverpool that fell through because of a reported knee injury. And he went to Betis, surprisingly, and he's been okay there, but he's not lit up La Liga, you know? But will represent a cheaper alternative to maybe buying a Ruben Neves or a player like that. So, going to be interesting to see, but Arsenal said to be interested in Fekir. They're going to be looking at various targets. As we saw with the Buendia thing, you can't have your heart set on just one player because that player can say, yeah, I want to come. You can be negotiating and it can all fall through. So you've got to have various targets. And Fekir is definitely one. So Arsenal interested in him. So lots and lots of transfer targets around, and it's going to be really interesting to see what Arsenal do. Everything a bit skewed at the moment because, of course, the Euros are going on at the moment as well, and the Copa America. So plenty of players to look at in the shop window. We want to see some of your recommendations based off of what you've seen so far in the Euros. Is there any standout player? For me, I liked Locatelli. But any standout players for you guys that you think Arsenal should be really, really in for? Thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget, get over onto the Don Robbie channel. We're doing a watch along to every single game of the Euros. It's been absolutely banging over there with various influencers, including a lot of them here from AFTV. So make sure you check it out. But we will be back tomorrow with more transfer updates.